So we're going to talk about farm to table. Your farm, your health, you matter. And I'm very excited to be here today to chat about this. It's one of the many things that I do, but we're going to spend less time talking about me. I want to jump right in and give you a framework for our time together today. The theme that you're going to see throughout today is your farm, your health, you matter. We're going to talk about farm to table core concepts. So essentially what farm to table is, and then we're only going to highlight 3 of the different ways farm to table shows up in our daily lives. That is through farmers markets, community supported agriculture, also known as CSA, and agritourism in Metro Atlanta. I also go by the plant-based nutritionista. So if you see me out there on socials, that is me. My mama named me Ethel Richards. It is a family name. I'm the Chief Inspiration Officer and the Chief Executive Officer of iEatMorePlants. And we exist to inspire you to take your health back one meal at a time by eating more plants. And of course, moving your body. So here's some food for thought. Dr. Rooke, I believe, shared this in week 1 or week 2. I love this quote as well. The food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. One of the many hats I wear is as a private chef. And on the left is a meal I curated that still brings joy, makes you feel like you're having a traditional American breakfast. And these are banana oat waffles. That's all they are. And I said, there has to be a way to make banana oat waffles without syrup, and it's using fruit. And on the right is what I actually flew out to Cherry Hill last week to do, was to curate a meal for a family. And this is strictly all plants: eggplant, broccoli, Brussels sprouts grown right in New Jersey. So food for thought. The food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. You decide. The food we eat comes from farms, hopefully, right? But I always like to say, you are what you eat. Yes, that's very true. But you also are what you digest. And I want to add another layer to that since we're talking about farm to table. How the food you eat is grown or created has a direct effect on your physical, your mental, and your emotional health. Now, quiet as it's kept, the organ of the immune system is the gut. I think we had a presentation a few weeks ago about gut microbiome, so I won't dive much into that. But that's included in this as well. Where do you think all this food is being processed that impacts our physical, our mental, and our emotional health? So this image you're looking at are collard greens. These collard greens were harvested at Truly Living Well Urban Agricultural Center and on the west end side of Atlanta. And this particular small community farm actually contributes produce to a CSA, which we'll talk a little bit more about in just a few. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of how this is all interconnected. So what is farm to table? Well, you may also hear farm to fork, but farm to table is really a movement. It's a philosophy that is best defined by describing its core concepts. So the first one is farm to table is food focused. It's focused on workforce commitment. It's focused on land and water animal commitment and also the local economy. So what does all this mean? Let me just say this. I could do a presentation on each one of these. So we're just going to highlight what this all means to help you understand farm to table. And in many ways, you know, back in the day, my grandmother would say, know your butcher, right? There was this thing about knowing your butcher. Well, we need to know our farmer. We need to know our farmer. So you're going to hear me say that a lot throughout this presentation. So it's food focused. Farm to table focuses on fresh, wholesome, flavorful food. A lot of people think eating more plants is boring, bland, and nasty, and that is the farthest thing from the truth. Learning the skill set to build flavor is a big part of, you know, eating any dish, but creating a fresh, healthy, and flavorful a meal, if you will. Farm to table is also focused on workforce. So supporting local farmers, supporting local producers, supporting the food industry workers, so the people that are working in supermarkets or at the farmers markets, as an example, and then the rights of farmers and food industry workers. Things like reasonable wages, appropriate housing, time off, some of the benefits that some of us have that we may take for granted. These are things that some farm workers don't even experience. And that's important in the farm to table movement. The other part of this is how we treat our land and water animals. So we say things like sustainable fishing, sustainable farming, and humane, animal husbandry. Those are critical in farm to table because we're not promoting animals in this group, but the philosophy cares about how we treat our waterways, how we treat our animals. So for the people who do consume animal products, whether land or water, they're getting the healthiest product on their plate. I will say this for those of you that are still transitioning. I'm not going to go into the papers behind this, but what we're seeing is that nuclear waste is turning up in our waterways, and the aquatic life is starting to test positive for nuclear waste. So just want to throw that out there. The other thing is about this is overfishing is happening to the point where it's affecting the whole food web and the food chain. Everything from the overgrowth of phytoplankton and things like that in the water, which is messing up the sun reaching the bottom. It's messing up the birds. It's like a whole big thing, right? So eating more plants is helping the environment. It supports regenerative agriculture. It supports improving and saving our topsoil and all these things. So animals, land, and water play a huge role in that. And the last one, also important, is supporting a local economy. When we recycle $1 in our local community several times, it strengthens the economy where we are. It supports the farmer, right, to continue with the farm, supports their families. But every time that dollar exchanges hands, of course, it's taxed, right, in theory. So it strengthens the dollar right in the local community, and there's so much data around to support that. So that's important. The other cool thing about Farm to Table is now we're connecting you, the community, right to your food source. And so now you can raise your hand and say, I know exactly where my mustard greens came from. They came from Narrowway Farm in Henry County. I know exactly where my figs came from. They came from the Vicks Estate in Albany, Georgia. And here's the pinnacle for me. This is what really ties it all together. Farm to Table has a significant role in health outcomes. Every week now, it's been 7 weeks of this program, we've talked about the importance of eating more plants and how it impacts our health. Well, knowing where your food comes from, being a direct consumer of your food, not only helps things like your allergies and your gut diversity and all of those things, it improves your health outcomes. And if we are all doing this, guess what? It improves the collective health outcomes in our community. That's powerful. So let's jump into one of the ways Farm to Table touches our daily lives right here in Metro Atlanta, and that's farmers market. So what is a farmers market? Well, think pop-up shop. Think not DeKalb farmers market. Do not think that. That is a different kind of farmers market, but I'm talking about those tents that go up on Saturday in the church parking lots or in mall parking lots or at different spaces on college campuses or at a local park. These permanent places, if you will, where we're setting up temporary shop to bring fresh produce right to the consumer. This is where you see things so like fruits, vegetables, honey, nuts, seeds, herbs, and some even bring meat, cheeses, and baked goods. And so now we're starting to see farmers markets evolve a little bit with hot food. But traditionally, it was really about connecting the farmer to the consumer. And so right here in Atlanta, these are just a few of the logos of places where I spent time this summer talking to farmers, getting to know the farm market managers, asking them questions about how do you grow your food? Are you certified naturally grown? Are you certified organic? Tell me how you manage pest control. How did you make out, by the way, with the cold snap? Showing that I care, right? Making it a family affair. Bring your kids, bring your loved ones. This is an opportunity to be more connected to your food, which is a big part of Farm to Table. Our farmers need encouragement. They're being pushed out right now by these big monocropping farms that are not helping our environmental health, just to say the least. Small and middle-sized farms is where it's at. And quiet as it's kept, they're the ones that are making the big waves in feeding local communities. So let's help them, right? Help us with our health outcomes and shop locally. So go to your farmers markets. And I have a resource guide. When I'm finished, I'll drop the link in the chat. You can go check out all the different places that are available in Metro Atlanta. The last thing I want to point out on this slide is this logo that says Wholesome Wave, Georgia in the middle of the slide. What that means is if you have SNAP or EBT benefits, or if you know of a loved one who has those benefits, when you go to a farmer's market, every dollar is considered $2 there. So it's a 1 to 2. It's a win-win. So you can give them $10 at the check-in booth, and they'll give you $20 in wooden coins to go shop at that farmer's market and get whatever produce you need for your family. That's significant. So now you can take your EBT dollars out of the supermarket and go support your local farmer. So what is this thing? I keep talking about CSA, community supported agriculture. It's exactly how it sounds. Community supported agriculture. So I'll say it a different way. Community supports farmer. That's essentially what this is. It's a program where you pay in advance for, let's say, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 15 weeks of guaranteed produce every week, or whatever cadence you sign up for, that you're getting direct from your local farms right in your area. Now, you also share the risk. So if there is a cold snap like we had last night, and your farmer wasn't able to harvest everything or cover it up fast enough, you might not get as much in your box the next week, but that's not the norm. The point is, you are supporting your local farmer to keep the farm going, and you're also getting in return nutrient-dense food right here in your local area or regional area if you're a part of a CSA that actually partners with different farms. So I have pointed out 4 things that CSAs do for us. They give us fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs every week at a minimum. They help build your gut microbiome with local produce, which is important for allergy sufferers. You eating fruit and vegetables from California or Peru, that's great. You don't live there. You live in Atlanta. So you want to be eating things that are pollinated right here that's going to help you, lessen those allergies and build up your gut microbiome to be able to tolerate those a little better. And just know that CSAs are not just used by people like me every week. We pick up our share. Restaurants use them. If you've ever seen a menu that says local tomatoes or herbs from this farm, they use them. Schools use them. There's a whole farm to school movement, and there's a farm to institution movement. And when we say institution, we're talking colleges, businesses, airlines, hospitals, things like that. We've already talked about the EBT, but you save time and money with this. So now I don't necessarily have to go to the market every week. I just go pick up my farm share on my daily route, doing what I do on Thursdays. And when I do go to the market, I'm just getting a few out of season berries and I come home. So I pay $35 a week for my farm share. Now I paid that in advance. It ended up being like $400 something. And when I go to the market, I only spend like 30 bucks, if that much. So I've cut my grocery bill more than in half, where I was spending anywhere from $150 sometimes to $200 a week. One person, by the way. I just like to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Now I spend $35 a week, and then when I go to the market, maybe 30 more bucks. So $65 a week, that's a huge savings, and it's time. Like, I'm not out there sifting through all these vegetables in the market or anything like that anymore, because I know my farmer. He's giving me the best, and I'm getting nutrient density. And now when I go and try to buy organic salad in a plastic container from the market, it doesn't even taste the same. Like, I can taste the gas they sprayed it with to get it here and to preserve it and all those things. So it's really been a game changer for me. Oh, let me go back. So this picture here, this is actually the farmer. This is my farmer, Russell. So that's Narrowway Farms. I actually went up there on a farm tour and asked him, hey, do you do a CSA? He said, yeah, they had a few more spots left, and I jumped on it. So they welcome you to the farm. Bring your family. You can volunteer. They have set days for that. They always can use extra farm hands to help with harvesting or weeding or just whatever they need done around the farm, and sometimes back office work. If you're not the outdoor person, they can use help. They don't have time for social media. They're out there farming. So you can get your whole family involved in this. So now what I would like to do, I would take us to farmers markets. I talked about CSA. I want to present to some and introduce to others this concept of agritourism. Agritourism is not new at all, but it is picking up steam in the United States. So it's this concept of basically combining someone's interest for being on a farm or being in nature with some sort of vacation, whether it's a day vacation or whether it's an overnight stay. It's a nice opportunity, and how farmers got into it was trying to make up the difference during off growing season. So they would offer things like hay rides and corn mazes and scary haunted hay rides this time of year and pumpkin patches and coming up with birthday party ideas for zoo petting or, all that kind of stuff that they would do to create more money. Well, it is an opportunity for another way for farmers to connect with the consumer, right? So now they're blending entertainment, education, and tourism all in one. Well, I do remember now how I met Farmer Vix, who's on the call tonight, but I didn't even know his estate existed. And after chatting with him, I was super impressed. So he's doing something that nobody else does. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the Vix Estate Farming Fishery Bed and Breakfast. And then I'm going to deputize you all with a charge to do something after this. And then I'll relinquish the floor back to Dr. Rooke. So here's a little bit about agritourism and the Vix Estate more specifically. So this is definitely what we consider a hidden gem in Albany, Georgia. It's on almost 5.9 acres of land. And this is like a family property. So this is really important to Farmer Vic. So it's an historic house. It's an historic property. He owns it. And he grows much of the produce that they use in their kitchen. I don't really hear that a lot when I'm out searching out places to go, at least in the US. But he does that. He even has a fig tree, which is pretty remarkable. And I think there's quite a few of those around Atlanta, but I'm looking forward to fig season again so I can get some figs. And what he does is he's actually combining, he's a former teacher, so he's combining the concepts of STEM to create summer programs for children in agriculture where they can learn about various things, food, growing, animals, fishery, all these things. And then he's also going to be doing on-site demonstrations, like cooking demonstrations, but also agricultural demonstrations to help people just have a better appreciation for what goes into farming and agriculture. He's also going to have guest speakers, as well as he will also hold holistic wellness retreats. And he's got so many more things coming on the pipeline, which we can't even talk about yet. The biggest news I just found out today is his bed and breakfast is now open. So you get all of this coolness all in one if you choose to stay at the Vix Estate. So agritourism, that's a nice way in the farm to table concept to support your local farmers. You can get a vacation. We do a lot of stress and meditation startups in this group. It's just a way to kind of combine it all together, have really good food, and just do what serves your body well for a day or two or three if you choose to stay here. But these types of organizations or agritourism spots are starting to creep up more in the US. So here's what I would like to do. I'd like to bring our thread back. Your farm, your health, you matter. I probably should even add your food, but we know we're talking about food. And I want to first ask you guys to consider signing up for a spring CSA near you. I'm really pushing that because not only does it help the farmer, it takes the stress out of you having to go to the market every week. You just go do your pickup. Some CSAs even deliver. It just depends on which one you sign up for. And second thing is, maybe your CSA doesn't give you exactly everything that you want every week. Well, this is where your farmer's market fills in. So I happen to like cucumbers. I don't get that every week anymore in my CSA box or bag. So I just go on to the farmer's market and I get to now support another farmer by buying some cucumbers from them. And when you're out there, ask them, are you certified naturally grown? Are you certified organic? No farmer should have an issue telling you about how they grow their food. In fact, they love to talk. Believe me, I know. I spent the whole summer outside at various farmers markets and on farms talking to farmers. They love this stuff. And get to know them. Get to know them, consider volunteering, making it a family affair. So the teacher and me couldn't close this out without giving you resources. Now, the cool thing is nothing to read here, everything to watch. On the left-hand side of your screen are the covers of various DVDs that you can get from your local library, Netflix, Amazon Prime, or you can just buy the DVD directly and you can watch to get a better understanding of what is happening globally, nationally and globally around your food. How these people are trying to create loopholes in government to really do things that do not serve us well. And as long as we vote with our dollars that we want processed food, that we want food made in the lab, that we don't care about our topsoil, guess what? Big food, big pharma, big government, they're going to win. But if we get out there and we start saying we're a part of a CSA, we don't need to buy that from the grocery store anymore. We shop at our local farmers market. Guess what happens? We put demand, because it's all about the money. We put demand on them to respect the environment, to love the earth, and to love our planet so they can love us back. Global warming is very real. We don't need as many animals packed into these places like we have, right? We don't need that much. We don't need monocropping. It's not helping, right? But they're going to argue that it does. But you can help by voting with your dollar based on where you shop. So I'm going to tell you how you can connect with me now. But you're also going to see on this next slide, I'm going to highlight it here, just the benefits of eating more plants. You've seen it, you've heard it now for 7 weeks. So here's week 8, you're going to hear it again. It improves the mental and emotional health. It helps with weight maintenance and weight loss. You can get better sleep, mental clarity, healthy digestion, healthy cell growth, normal blood pressure, healthy blood sugar or A1C, and it optimizes your immunity. It doesn't get any better than that. So here's how you can connect with me. My information is all there. What's coming soon is personalized nutrition, and that starts on July 1. But until then, I am working as a private chef and also as a health coach and helping people just with recipes and helping them figure out what to do with the food and produce that comes in their farm share. So here's your charge. Remember, you matter. You matter to me, you matter to God, you matter to the world. We need you. So let's together support local farms. Let's save our topsoil, our waterways, our biodiversity, our overall environment, and most of all, our health. And we do that by eating more plants. Thank you so much for lending me your ear. Thank you, Dr. Rooke, for the invitation to share this evening, and for the National University of Natural Medicine for engaging me for yet another degree, a third master's. And to all of the farmers that spent so much time with me this summer, teaching and learning and just answering my questions, thank you all so much. Dr. Rooke, back over to you.
Thank you so much. That was really excellent, Ethel. Thank you, thank you, thank you.